welcome you to actually share out loud with all of us for the next like 2-3 minutes. Maybe that'll be like 3 or 4 hands, so just keep that in mind. Of your experiences of how maybe your values and not align with the frameworks that you were given. Anybody like to share? Angel?
So, sorry, yeah, getting my thoughts good. So it was a big problem between having rigorous assessments and having like really poor formative assessments. For bio, it's all multiple choice. So I was forced to always give multiple choice and like 50 questions of it, versus having 20 questions where I can like really probe their knowledge and ask them like why and explain. And I was watched every day, like to make sure I was doing that. And whenever I would stray, it would be a problem. So my value of like really knowing where they are mentally versus like multiple choice and poor formative assessments. I think that was one of my riskiest. Going against my values and why I came here.
Risky in terms of like if you didn't do it?
I think risky in terms, yeah. If I didn't do it, it was a big issue.
Okay.
Yeah, and I couldn't do anything different. We all have to do the same thing in the entire department. I couldn't be different.
Okay. And then did anybody have a similar experience to Angel, or maybe have a similar experience with the solution with that? Or I don't know, if you were in a scenario where you were given a framework where you felt it was extremely risky and not aligned to your values, and we have an end goal of this TAL leadership, what is your similar experiences? I know at Institute somebody said they couldn't call parents.
Yeah, I had that listed on mine. Both as one that like really didn't align to my values and would have been really risky because this school viewed like non-certified teachers as unable to, they didn't want those people contacting student parents about their academic progress in school. So I don't have any, like you were talking about solutions, I didn't figure out a way to counter that, but I wasn't able to call parents. So.
Do you want solutions?
I was just curious. I was just hoping.
Sure. I think like after going through Institute and just everything else, I think the best way to do it is through evidence and showing them evidence of like, look, my students are growing through these formative assessments that don't require multiple choice, and they're getting to where they need to be in my goal. I think that was the best way of aligning with my coach and my AP over me.
Okay. I really like that you said that, like, best way of aligning with your coach and your AP, because like this kind of transitions us into that next part. And before we get there, did anybody else want to share out? I just wanted to make sure, because this next part has a lot to do with reflecting on the outcomes, frameworks, and feedback. Meaning, Angel was given a scenario where he was not allowed to, he had to follow a standard that the rest of his department had to follow. And we kind of have to ask the question, why? And that is kind of like, why are they telling me this when I know this is good for kids and they also work for kids? And when we ask those questions of why, it will help us get through that maze. And so before we really dive into that why, we need to share a vocabulary of how